covering your hometown. From 5 newsrooms across the region, this is WDBJ 7.
USA! USA!
All eyes are on Virginia as thousands of gun rights advocates from our hometowns and around the country filled the streets of Richmond to make their voices heard.
My intent here today is peaceful.
Many carried guns and signs to amplify their message.
Whether you like guns or you don't like guns, you can't take our rights.
We have team coverage examining both sides of this complex issue.
Despite what happened today, we're getting gun safety laws in Virginia.
This special edition of WDBJ 7 at 6 begins right now. Good evening, live from Richmond on Lobby Day 2020, and what a day it has been here in the state capitol. Lobby Day historically is a day when Virginians come to Richmond to tell lawmakers what they think about all sorts of topics. Today, the big issue, gun control and gun rights. Earlier today, these streets were blocked and filled with thousands upon thousands of people who came out with a message. Security was extremely tight, with barricades blocking many roads and police pretty much at every turn.
It's pretty tight, but it's good. Yeah, it was good. No problem.
People made it through metal detectors and onto the Capitol grounds.
Probably took us from the time we got here about an hour to get through to this Capitol Square.
It was real streamlined. You did have to take your coat off. They checked all your pockets.
Extra security was put in place after credible threats prompted the governor's order that no weapons be allowed in Capitol Square on Lobby Day, a move that prompted many to stay on the perimeter and not go through security.
No, I wouldn't do that because it'd have to be disarmed, and I'm not going to let that happen.
USA! USA!
Outspoken radio host Alex Jones led the crowd with a megaphone.
USA! The Patriots are taking back over!
People with guns, others with flags, and all with a message lined the streets. Many roads were blocked and police were stationed all around the Capitol.
We're a good crowd. We're peace-loving.
Many reached out to thank police for their work.
We appreciate the police here. They're here for security for all of us. We just want the assembly to know that reasonable people disagree with what they're doing.
And we continue to hear that message throughout the day from the people who were here for the rally, that they just wanted this to be a peaceful protest. They wanted to send that message. The main event, of course, was at Capitol Square, where speakers came from around the country, as far away as Texas, to rally this crowd. WDBJ 7's Eric Miller followed that portion of the story where there were Virginia lawmakers and sheriffs right alongside people at this rally. Eric, what was the message you heard today?
Well, Gene, one of the key takeaways from speakers here today, elections matter, not just in 2019 when Democrats took control of the General Assembly, but in 2020 when rally organizers today say they hope to strike back.
Wow, look at you guys. This is incredible.
Across the Capitol lawn and beyond Monday, they packed in by the tens of thousands. Many carried flags, most wore stickers. Almost all leaned in to hear the message coming from the podium.
Disarming law-abiding citizens does not make us safer. It emboldens criminals and puts us all at risk.
Speakers included local sheriffs who vowed to stand up to Richmond in the raft of new gun legislation proposed by the Democrat-controlled legislature.
We will not have our citizens disarmed.
The rally was a key moment for the Virginia Citizens Defense League, which has been pushing for the creation of Second Amendment sanctuaries around the Commonwealth. Leaders, including President Philip Van Cleve, said turnout like this is the only way to turn the tide at the ballot box.
96% of Virginia's counties are Second Amendment sanctuaries. 96%, including many areas that vote Democrat.
It's a message that resonated with many in the crowd.
We just have to be a little louder at the voting box next couple of years.
Now, another man we talked to out here on the Capitol lawn said he believes Governor Ralph Northam has awakened a sleeping giant. We'll have to wait until November to see for sure. Gene?
All right, Eric, and of course, Election Day will be here before we know it. Many of the people from our hometowns have been pushing Second Amendment issues to the forefront in their city councils. And today, many of those folks came here to Richmond. WDBJ7's Leanna Scacchetti caught up with people from our hometowns. Leanna, we've been talking about this in many counties and cities across Southwest Virginia. Why did those folks you speak with say it was so important for them to be physically here in Richmond today?
Well, Jean, they told me that even if they might not have any interface or conversation with their delegates today, was about making a point. And that point, they told me, was showing up to show lawmakers just how many people in the Commonwealth feel their rights are in jeopardy.
Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed. Shall not be infringed.
Hailing the Second Amendment in public streets, an estimated 16,000 people showed up, many with guns on hips and in hand.
Virginia 113.
Many pulled in fellow supporters to sign petitions.
Would you like to sign the petition to stop Northam's gun control?
While some roamed the streets, hawking their wares.
My governor's immediate t-shirt!
Among the thousands, Southwest Virginians were bussed in or carpooled with friends and family to make it to Richmond, most feeling less apprehensive once they merged with the crowd.
My intent here today is peaceful. It is just, nonviolent. I simply want to be another face in the crowd to demonstrate how many people are willing to stand up for their Second Amendment rights.
To one man from Campbell County, numbers today were important.
What really gets their attention is when people have the motivation to show up in person. That shows a different level of dedication to whatever the cause may be.
Supremacy, the woman hating, the immigrant bashing.
Apart from one run-in with counter-protesters that we saw, the crowd remained mostly calm and peaceful. Despite the crowds and the cold, Southwest Virginians we spoke with say the showing was necessary.
Yeah, just to pretty much show our support and say we're behind our delegates.
Again, a lot of these people that we spoke with today came into the event a little tense, a little bit worried, Jean, that there could be violence. All of them told me they did not want that to happen today. They just wanted to be able to come to the Capitol, say their bit, show up in numbers. And so, again, it was a mostly peaceful, calm day, and I think everybody was very happy with that outcome.
I would agree with that. Everyone I spoke with, same thing. We're here to peacefully protest. We just want to send a message, and that really was what the message was today. Leanna Scacchetti, thank you for talking to folks from our hometown. There were people from all over the country here and all over the state of Virginia, including our hometowns. As you just heard, it is quiet now. The streets have reopened here in Richmond, and most everyone has gone home. Some of the folks who did not show up today are in support of that gun control legislation that is going through the General Assembly. Melissa Gaona is back in the studio with that part of the story. Melissa, I know they canceled their rally for 3 o'clock today, but they certainly do not want to be silenced on what they believe.
Yeah, that's right, Jean. And groups that support stricter gun laws stayed away from Capitol Square while the gun rights rally was underway, but they say they weren't idle. WDBJ7's Joe DeShiel is live tonight outside Capitol Square. Joe, what did they have to say about the large number of people who turned out today?
Well, Melissa, they say their decision to stay away was based on safety concerns and their fears that victims of gun violence who often attend their vigil might be traumatized. But they also say that they redoubled their efforts while the rally was underway.
Groups that support the legislation now advancing in the General Assembly watched the rally from a distance. While they said they heard a lot of noise today, they told us Virginia voters made it abundantly clear in November that they support gun safety measures, including universal background checks and red flag laws.
I think that there were a lot of extremists, many of them not even from Virginia, who descended on the Capitol today. And while they were doing that, moms across the state and across the country were calling Virginia voters and reminding them to call their lawmakers in support of gun safety measures.
So they were not here in Capitol Square today, but Melissa, they say they'll be celebrating when the gun bills that are now advancing through the legislature become law.
All right, Joe, thank you for your coverage tonight. And we have continuing coverage now. Let's go ahead and go over the details of just some of the gun reform bills that have passed the state Senate. Senate Bill 35 passed on Thursday. This bill allows any locality to ban guns in a public space during a permitted event. Senate Bill 16 prohibits any person who is not a firearms dealer from buying more than one gun a month. Senate Bill 70 focuses on background checks, and Senate Bill 240 lets a judge or magistrate decide to temporarily remove a person's guns if they pose a risk of hurting themselves or others. And your hometown station will be keeping you updated on everything happening at our state capitol. You can see our complete coverage of the rally on our website as well as our Facebook page. Thanks for joining us on this Monday. We have more headlines coming up right after the break, including details on a crash that sent one police officer to the hospital. And we'll show you how some students spent today's holiday giving back. Stay with us. We are learning more about a search in Rockbridge County tonight. The sheriff's office says a drug task force was looking for a fugitive in the Timber Ridge area, and they eventually found the person. These are photos from the scene. Officials say the fugitive ran into a culvert pipe in Mill Creek to hide. They tried taking the person, talking to them into coming out, but they later had to go into the culvert to rescue the person. The fugitive is in the hospital, and police have not yet identified him or her. Tonight at 10 and 11, we'll hear how this search impacted businesses in the area. In Danville, police say an officer was hit by the driver of a hearse this afternoon. Danville police say Officer Andrew Eanes was leading a funeral procession on North Main Street this afternoon. They say he used his patrol vehicle to stop traffic and stepped into the road to come to attention while the procession passed. And that's when police say the hearse driver ran into him and the driver's side door. Eanes was taken to a hospital for evaluation. The driver of the hearse, 35-year-old Tyrell Payne, was charged with failure to maintain control of his vehicle. Over 150 young people came out to volunteer at the rescue mission today on their day off from classes. Students from North Cross Community School and other area schools helped deep clean the dining hall. They also reorganized the stocked pantry as well as filled all those cans, food for the homeless. It was all part of their day of service to honor Martin Luther King Jr. Good stuff there.
Yes.
All right, Brent, I know last week, maybe the weeks before, we were saying, where are those winter-like temperatures?
Ooh.
And that has just not been the case this weekend into today.
They blew back into town. Some
Yes,
snow
they did.
flurries yesterday. A lot of folks got excited seeing those. Today, it was all about the cold air. We got down into the teens and 20s early this morning. Highs only in the 20s and 30s. In fact, it's going to be even colder tonight than it was early this morning, just without the wind. We'll look at those numbers. Plus, we'll show you any rain chances for the next 7 days.
Now, from the Berglund Automotive Weather Center, here's your hometown forecast.
And that beautiful sunrise this morning from our Poor Mountain Sky Cam. Certainly a few clouds out there, but really just a beautiful blue sky day. Dry weather that allowed us to only warm into the 30s this afternoon. The wind started to settle down as well. The coldest air that we've had so far this winter. I can say that because the last time we got this cold was actually in November, before winter even started. Right now already into the teens in Hot Springs, 25 Lewisburg, about 16 in Bluefield, already in the low 30s in the Roanoke Valley, in the 20s now in Blacksburg. And it's going to get even colder as we go through the night. Easily in the teens and 20s as you step out the door early tomorrow morning. Some single digits certainly possible as well. It's just not going to be as windy as what it was early this morning. So that's certainly good, as those wind chill values will be not as brutal. Now, we do have some snow showers across parts of the Ohio Valley. Dry weather for us right now. A lot of you have been asking, when in the world are we ever going to get a snowstorm in here? There's nothing at this time that we see that grabs our attention. And if we were to not get another flake of snow for the rest of the winter, which is likely not going to happen, I feel like we'll get something. Right now we're at the fourth least snowiest winter on record. We've only had 1.6 inches of snow. That's behind 1990 when we had 1.2 for the year. There were some winters back in the early 1900s where we just had a trace of snow the entire winter. So snow fans, hang tight. I do think we'll get that in here, but it's going to take some time. Tonight, getting down into the teens and 20s when you go out the door early tomorrow morning, likely not getting above freezing until lunchtime, and they'll be back into the upper 30s again tomorrow afternoon for Roanoke, Lynchburg, Danville, low 30s through the NRV and the Highlands. Staying dry over the next couple days, and our next chance of showers really not coming in here until we get into Friday and Saturday. It's this system right here that's going to track across the country and eventually bring us some rain. Now, there are some signs that we may start out as a brief wintry mix across the Highlands as this moves on in, but everybody else should stay above freezing once we get into Friday and Saturday. Even Friday night, those overnight lows are only in the upper 30s. So if you're making some plans this week, just know that it will get warmer into the 40s by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, or bring some rain in here late Friday into Saturday, but that should be out of here by Saturday night. And then the second half of the weekend looking quite nice with partly sunny skies, daytime highs in the upper 40s and overnight lows in the 30s.
In tonight's good news here at home, students at Averett University had class today, but that did not stop them from serving their community. Students and staff stopped by the Harvest Pack food drive to put together meals for people in need in Danville. They say getting out into the community is important.
It's a large standpoint and staple in our community as far as getting our students out, engaging, and also helping our area nonprofits. So we definitely thought it was vitally important, and it fits within our mission.
With help from God's Storehouse, they are able to meet their goal of putting together 18,000 meals.
The Tech basketball team is getting back to basics defensively ahead of another busy week in the ACC. Plus, the Liberty Flames are still rolling right along in the Atlantic Sun. What Coach Richie McKay has learned about his 19-1 Flames after the break.
Now at the Toyota Sports Desk, here's WDBJ7's Travis Wells.
Following Saturday's loss to Syracuse, it's another week of great opportunity for Coach Mike Young's team, with North Carolina visiting Blacksburg Wednesday night and a road trip to Boston College on Saturday. But the Hokies know their defense has to take another step after struggling against Syracuse.
We're really good defensively. I know getting back and getting matched up to our defenders, because once our defense is set and matched up, we're a pretty solid defensive team.
It's definitely defensive rebounding and guarding your yard. We aren't the biggest team in the ACC by far at all. So we have to have that kind of chip on our shoulder to be able to go after the ball.
The Liberty Flames stayed unbeaten in the A-Sun by beating Lipscomb over the weekend, and Richie McKay's team is now 19-1 overall. The Flames are still just outside the latest AP Top 25 poll, but did garner a few more votes this week. Up next, road dates at North Florida and Stetson this weekend before the stretch run. And unless something crazy happens, the only prevailing question of the regular season is whether or not the Flames finish the conference slate unbeaten.
We have a tough team that's mature. I think we obviously know we have room for improvement, and we don't think we can just show up and win games, and I think that is a product of their maturity. We're not naive. A-Sun's it's a good league, and we had better respect and appreciate the opportunity each night out. Otherwise, I think that's when you get real disappointed quickly.
And that's your look at sports. We're back right after this.
And before we go, let's head back out to WDBJ7 anchor Jean Jadhun live in Richmond for us tonight. Jean?
Melissa, Lobby Day 2020 has officially come to an end. Night has fallen here in Richmond, and it has been a peaceful day. Despite those threats of violence that came late last week, today we saw the First Amendment clearly on display here in Richmond as people sent a message to lawmakers on something that they believe is important. The governor late today released a statement saying thousands of people came to Richmond to make their voices heard today. This shows when people disagree, they can do so peacefully. We heard from people on all sides of a very contentious issue here in the state capitol, and lawmakers will now get to work and move forward with the General Assembly session. Melissa?
Jean, I know a lot of folks today, even on social media, were very on edge as to what may take place. at this event. So glad to
Yes.
hear that everyone is safe and everything ended peacefully. Great job on y'all's coverage today, Jean.
Definitely.
Thank you. All right, and the weather was definitely a talker too, Brent.
Ooh, you see everybody bundled up down there
Yes.
today for sure. Yeah, so tomorrow morning, even colder than what you woke up to this morning, anywhere between 12 and about 19 degrees is what we're going to wake up to tomorrow. Not as windy though. By the afternoon, those daytime highs will get up into the mid to upper 30s under mostly sunny skies. So overall, a much cooler winter day than what we've been experiencing over the past couple weeks. I mean, last week we had some of the ski resorts closing down the slopes because a lot of melting going on. Totally different story out there this week. So.
Yes, and I know we have February quickly approaching us. We have
Yes.
Trav here. We've already been talking about the Super Bowl that's going to be approaching here soon.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Good
it is going to be a
matchup,
lot
San
of fun.
Francisco, Kansas City.
Coming up, and hopefully it'll feel like the winter months. We'll get a little snow perhaps in February.
Who are
right
you
now,
going for, Brent?
I'm going to go for the Chiefs. I think.
Chiefs.
I like KC as well.
I'm going for Chiefs. Thanks for joining us. Good night.